Welcome back to the deep dive. So you've probably been there, right? You're trying to use some advanced AI, ChatGPT maybe, and you get back this huge block of text. It's like perfectly written, but just totally overwhelming. You end up with this structural chaos instead of the clarity you were actually looking for. You didn't want more volume, you wanted, well, leverage, real leverage. Today, we're going to get really specific about fixing that. We've dug through a bunch of sources, pulling out 6 really refined AI prompts. A lot of inspiration here comes from frameworks, like the ones successful leaders use for focus. Our mission, to help you shift those AI interactions away from just getting information dumps towards generating a really clear, actionable strategy. We're talking about levers that saves you time, turning a few minutes crafting a smart prompt into hours saved on structuring, learning, whatever you need.
That's exactly it. You, the listener, you're looking for that shortcut, right? Not just to be informed, but strategically informed. And these sources, they really highlight that the main challenge isn't the AI's knowledge. It's getting the structure right. So these 6 prompts, they essentially teach the AI to think more strategically for you, cutting through the noise, getting straight to, well, clarity for decisions.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Before we get into the actual prompts themselves, what are the sort of ground rules here? The sources talk about refining prompts, and it seems to boil down to 3 key parts for each prompt: the role, the command, and the format cue. Is that right?
Precisely. Yeah, if you look at the underlying principles from the sources, the things that make a prompt great instead of just good, they all revolve around shaping those 3 elements. So the first principle, and honestly, probably the most critical, is to add gentle constraints. A vague prompt gets you everything and nothing. A strategic one sets boundaries, like demanding just 3 to 5 branches for an outline, or maybe you're specifying, give me one actionable example. It forces the AI to sharpen its focus, prioritize.
Gentle constraints. I like that term. It's not about limiting the AI. It's more about directing its power, isn't it?
Exactly. Then the second principle, prioritize clarity over flair. It seems counterintuitive maybe, but the sources show that using really simple, direct language works better than trying to sound academic or complex in your prompt. Simpler input gives cleaner, more usable output.
Right. Don't try to impress the AI.
Yeah, exactly. And the third principle, which is non-negotiable, always, include a format cue. You have to tell it how you want the information back. Use bullet points. Give me a structured outline. Make a step-by-step checklist. This makes sure you can actually use the output straight away.
So it's not just about asking the question. It's about forcing the AI to generate, the reasoning behind the answer, using that structure to skip the info dump and get straight to the analysis.
That's spot on. Yeah, you're basically training it to think like a systems architect, not just a librarian pulling books off a shelf.
Okay, let's make this practical. Applying these rules. First up, strategic thinking and simplification. We want the AI to help us visualize things and then, immediately break them down. So prompt 1, mind mapping. Visualize with precision. The role here is key. A world-class strategist, a systems thinker. The command is specific. Develop a clear hierarchical mind map. Start from the core idea, expand it into just 3 to 5 main branches, and then break those down into actionable subtopics.
And that constraint, the 3 to 5 branches, it's not random. It really forces the AI towards, the Pareto principle for your topic. It makes it find the 20% that gives you 80% of the result, so you avoid getting lost in the weeds right from the start. And the format cue, that structured outline, ready for a visual map that gives you the immediate usability we talked about.
That constraint really does force focus. Okay, so if prompt 1 helps organize things externally, prompt 2 tackles the next step, actually internalizing it, making sense of the complexity. This is prompt 2, clarity over complexity, simplify to amplify. Here, the role is a master educator, someone great at making complex stuff stick. And the command is quite specific. Explain the topic in plain language, like you're talking to a 10-year-old. Use analogies. Use real-life examples.
Right, that explain to a 10-year-old part, it's actually a really clever psychological trick for the AI. It forces it to ditch the jargon, Rely on core concepts and really solid analogies. That's how you build real understanding.
I get the constraint for the mind map, but why the 10-year-old thing specifically here? Why not just say plain language? What's the trick?
Well, plain language can still be kind of abstract, right? But asking for a 10-year-old explanation, that sets a really clear tone and a complexity ceiling. It forces the AI to synthesize the idea down to its absolute essence so it could actually be taught simply. And then the format Q3 short paragraphs plus that single summary sentence at the end. That's designed to be like a cognitive hook. Makes it easy to remember, easy to share. That summary sentence is pure gold for, a meeting takeaway.
Okay, now we pivot a bit. Let's talk internal leverage. How can we use AI to work on things like mindset or maybe to reverse engineer what makes something successful? Using AI for like personal or professional growth structure. So prompt 3 is growth mindset development. Build resilience. The role we assign is a mindset coach, someone who works with, say, high-performing founders hitting a wall. The command lists 5 proven mindset shifts for embracing discomfort for growth, and crucially, provide a short description and a concrete action step for each one.
Okay, hold on a sec, though. Are we really asking an AI for proven mindset shifts? I mean, how do the sources suggest we approach that? That feels like a bit of a leap, psychologically speaking.
That's a fair question, yeah. The sources are clear on this. You're not asking the AI to invent these shifts from scratch. You're asking it to synthesize them from existing, psychology, coaching literature, using that constraint proven to guide its search.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. So it's leveraging the AI's ability to synthesize vast amounts of info, not asking for original emotional insight. And the real structural power here, I think, is demanding that action step. Without it, you just get 5 interesting ideas, right? But with the action step, you turn abstract advice into something tangible you can actually do. That's leverage right there.
Turning advice into action, exactly. Okay, now let's look at systems thinking with the next one. Prompt 4, reverse engineering concepts. Unpack success. This feels like creating a blueprint. The role is a systems architect, someone who's expert at taking success apart to see how it works. The command, work backward from the goal. Outline the steps, the decisions, the core principles needed, and here's the kicker. Explain the logic of each connection.
Yes. That demand for the logic is everything. It stops ChatGPT from just giving you a simple to-do list. It forces it to show the reasoning. I actually used something like this recently, trying to figure out how a competitor hit a certain market share. It didn't just list steps. It highlighted like 3 key historical decisions that underpin their whole strategy. That's real insight you don't get from just searching. In the format, it suggests that numbered breakdown. How come key steps? Underlying principles, it really does turn the AI into more of a systems designer for you.
All right, final stretch. Let's hit the core goal for many listeners. Accelerating learning and making sure it actually, sticks. Prompt 5 is learn anything from an expert. Accelerate understanding. Here, the role is a seasoned expert, 10 plus years of real hands-on experience. The command, teach the absolute essentials. Use zero jargon, simple analogies, clear steps, and this is important, one practical example.
That demand for one practical example is so key for fast understanding, isn't it? It grounds the theory immediately, puts it into a real-world context, builds that mental model instantly. If you can't apply it, you haven't really learned it. This prompt helps bridge that gap.
Totally. And the format they suggest is super useful for self-teaching. What you must know, how to think about it, and what to do first. Gives you a clear path for a quick learning burst. And let's wrap with prompt 6, memory and retention optimizer. Make learning stick. The role is a peak performance coach specializing in learning in memory. The command is to design a learning plan that actually works long-term. Using proven tools, it explicitly mentions spaced repetition, storytelling, and visualization.
Yeah, mentioning those specific memory frameworks, spaced repetition, storytelling is crucial. It nudges the AI to pull from actual cognitive science. So the plan it generates is much more likely to work for long-term retention, not just cramming for tomorrow. And the format queue delivers a simple step-by-step checklist, designed specifically to be used after each learning session. It makes retention an active, final step in the process, bridges that gap between getting the info and actually keeping it.
So where does this all leave us? I mean, these 6 prompts pulled together from the sources, they really do change how you interact with these powerful AI tools, don't they? By consistently applying those core ideas, adding constraints, keeping it clear, demanding a format, you shift ChatGPT from being just a search engine to being more like an active strategic partner.
Absolutely. Ultimately, these kinds of refinements mean the AI gives you answers that don't just dump information, but actually help structure your own thinking, help you make smarter decisions faster, and stay focused on what really matters. Which, brings up an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about next time you're writing an AI prompt. If these tools are becoming our partners in strategy and learning, what's the most critical skill we need to develop to really get the most leverage out of them? Is it defining the problem better, the command? Is it structuring the solution, the format queue? Or is it maybe about envisioning the right expertise, the role? Which of those feels most important for turning information into real knowledge and application? Something to mull over.
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.